Hello, everyone. Welcome to another CertiK AMA. Today we have Blockchainspace as a guest. My name is Michael. I'm going to be your host today, and this is my co-host Paul. Guys, could you introduce yourselves?
Yeah, sure. I'll go ahead. I'll go first. My name is Aspen. I head marketing for Blockchain Space. I'm also concurrently the country manager for the Philippines, as we operate heavily outside of the Philippines and Singapore at present.
Hi, and I'm Jonathan. I only recently joined Blockchain Space, and I lead product here.
Awesome. Nice to meet you guys. Could you give us a quick rundown on what's blockchain space so people who are not aware may get more familiar?
Sure. I'll take this on, being the more seasoned one, I guess, of
Yeah.
the 10 years. Yeah. So, Blockchain Space started off as a physical space in the Philippines where our founder, Peter Ng, hosted multiple crypto meetups for the industry. Some of which, some of those have been, were the luminaries, are the luminaries in the GameFi space as well. So, from that point forward, around 2021, it pivoted more. The company pivoted and was able to raise on the GameFi narrative when the business was doing CRM solutions for the guild ecosystem,
Mhm.
capitalizing heavily on the play to earn narrative that was prevalent during that time. Since then, we focus more towards communities, gaming communities, Web3 communities, particularly the Web3 gaming community, obviously, and then we saw some opportunities to also expand and incorporate a much larger audience, which is the creator community as well. So since that, we've recently launched our product, which I'm sure John will get into in much more detail later. That focuses towards the creator community at large. So not just Web3 communities, but also Web2 creators as well, spanning every kind of culture vertical from gaming to lifestyle to music to entertainment. So yeah, that's where we are. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Uh, could you tell us more about how do you guys empower gaming communities and what kind of tools do you provide for that?
Okay. So again, back in 2021 up until 2022, we built a couple of solutions. They're all under the website now. Um, Most of which are CRM solutions. We built multiple bots for Discord to assist in the whole manager scholar relationship. We also built basically tools and platforms that made it easier for managers to interact with their and operate at scale during the Web3 GameFi play to earn narrative, right? So that's what it was. Part of that, also, at one point we were also running concurrently the country operations for Sandbox in the Philippines, and we also had um Web3 GameFi guild, which focused mostly on Axie. Since then, again, we've built the platform that we have right now to help out the Web3 creators to make that relationship with the community a more two-way relationship, similar to how we have it in Web3 gaming.
Mhm. Awesome. Let me see. I was just looking onto your website. I was having a look right now. Yeah, seems everything seems very interesting. Uh, could you give us a rundown on what is the significance of playing to earn guilds in the metaverse, and how do you guys support their growth and success?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I didn't get a second part.
Uh, could you the second part?
Yeah,
Can you
just
repeat the
repeat the
question?
whole. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna repeat the whole question. So, what is the significance of playing to earn guilds in the metaverse, and how do you guys support their growth and success?
So it right now, right? The guild proposition isn't really as strong as it used to be. The way that guilds behave now are very different from the way that it behaved before. Um, we're seeing, and again, that's the case when it comes to new technologies, right? And evolution of technology as it moves forward. We're seeing now that a lot of these guilds have also pivoted into becoming their own projects, or trying to become solution providers. Like for example, the case in point with some of the guilds we met in Japan when we were there for NFT Tokyo. So there is that behavior there that's still very interesting, and we see that guilds are still going to be very important as everything moves forward, but it won't necessarily be the same scholar manager relationship that we've seen in the past, right? We don't think that, personally, on my behalf, I don't think it's a equitable solution, I don't think it runs in parallel with what we're trying to do with Web3, trying to make it accessible to everyone. I think that in order for Web3 to be totally purely equitable to everyone needs to own. And I think that guilds also will evolve over time, and we just have to see what it's going to look like.
Mm-hmm. By the way, could you give us some more information on guilds? Like, I don't think you went through that much. So, what is a guild, basically?
Okay.
Okay.
To give more insight to everyone here.
Sure. John, you want to take this on? Or
Sure. Yeah. So I think we'll answer the question now, also built on what Aspen said earlier, right? To put it in more blunt terms, basically, as crypto went into a bear market over the last, 12 to 18 months, basically it took along GameFi with it, right? Play to earn, frankly speaking, right now in the tail end of 2023 is no longer a thing. Right? None of the games out there are actually earning anything. Now, in the heyday of 2020, and 2021, a guild essentially is a structure in the GameFi Web3 space where basically, if you remember all of these games like Axie Infinity, PegXE, or whatnot, they all have games where you have to play using NFTs. However, the problem was that a lot of these NFTs are quite pricey, so the price of entry into a game was quite high. So in that case, some very smart people came up with the concept of a guild, where essentially guild provides capital to purchase these NFTs upfront. Then they distribute it out to people who are willing to spend the time to play the games, who we call scholars. And these are the people who will go and grind the games. And essentially, there's a rev share relationship between the scholars and the guild owners in terms of the returns, the token returns that you earn from playing these games, right? So, for example, when you grind Axie Infinity, you will take you will borrow these Axie NFTs from the guild itself, and as you play, you will earn SLP. For those of you who remember Smooth Love Potion SLP, which can then be yeah, right, and that's essentially what a guild did. It facilitated this value exchange between the games themselves, as well as the players, as well as the people who own the NFTs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Understood.
Yeah, that's what a guild is, for those of you who are not aware.
So it was basically establishing a connection between the people that want to invest and had a required capital and the people who want to play and get some of the rewards without having to put up front the hundreds of dollars it took to get one Axie. I remember
like venture capital today. Right? You have the people who have the capital, and you have the people who have the talent and the time to build something. So it's a similar relation.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking about. I remember I heard about Axie like in the early days, but I didn't give it much attention. And when I wanted to get into it, it was already, I think, like $300 or $400 for the cheapest one. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, during the heyday of GameFi, it was insane. I mean, you can ask Aspen, who's in the Philippines at that time, but like, Axie at its peak, a lot of people in rural Philippines, to my understanding, actually, worked that as a day job to support their family, and it was better paying than anything else they could do. Aspen, correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh yeah, I mean, it wasn't just even rural Philippines; it was just prevalent everywhere. Again, remember that this was the time when COVID was at its peak as well. So people were losing jobs, people were struggling to to keep their jobs basically, right? And then this game comes along, and then it provides an opportunity for people to earn while also staying indoors as well, right? So it was a perfect storm for something like this to mature at that time, at least.
Yeah, was definitely an amazing opportunity for whoever got in rather early, not necessarily early, but not at the time when it was like $400, just
Yeah.
the entry barrier when I wanted to get in myself. Uh, Thank you. Could you provide some examples of the economic opportunities that blockchain spaces academies help identify within the play to earn ecosystem?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Yeah, sure. Could you provide some examples of the economic opportunities that your guys' academies help identify within the play to earn ecosystem?
I guess you're talking about their Axie Academy that we had back in the day. Is that what you're
Yeah,
pertaining to?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So it pretty much was one of the biggest guilds in the Philippines during that time. Again, our founder is very heavy into gaming and very heavy into Web3 gaming and very heavy into crypto and Web3, right? Some would call him one of the OGs in the country, actually. And he had very good relationships with the people that were at the forefront of it, right? So
Hmm.
he got in pretty early, and I forget the number now of how many guild members we had under Axie Academy, but it's pretty sizable also. And in terms of like economic opportunities, that's what I said a while ago as well, right? It provided a way for people to earn. It provided, and some of those people that were able to earn actually were able to buy their own Axies and buy their own assets, and then eventually start their own micro guilds as well. So it was a lot of that. It was a lot of hope during that time when it came to the guild space.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an amazing opportunity for people to start and kind of climb up the ladder slowly. They start off in a guild, and then with the earnings that they manage to get from that, they could have gotten their own Axie and start their own guild
Yeah,
eventually.
but Michael, if I may add on to what Aspen said just now, but as hyped and exciting all this GameFi and guild stuff was back in the day, it disappeared just like I mentioned earlier. It disappeared just as fast as the depths of the crypto bear market came, right? So if you look at 2023 today, right, no one can basically earn a living playing games, playing GameFi games anymore, right? The earning is just not there, right? So if you look at our core business model, we were in the business of supporting guilds and trying to make them successful, right? But if
Yeah.
guilds aren't a thing anymore, if play to earn isn't a thing anymore in 2023, what could we do? And this is really when we had the recognition that guilds fundamentally, in essence, are basically communities, right? We have communities all around us, whether it's guilds, whether it's a creator's fan base, whether it's a live streamer's, following base or whatnot. Communities are all around us, and which is why we pivoted our product and our vision around supporting creators and community owners, and basically helping them to increase their engagement and monetization, which could include guilds as well, because most of the guilds that you see today no longer operate as a guild as we would understand it back in 2021, right? The guilds today are really more like interest groups, gaming communities. They have different needs and desires and problems to solve in 2023 compared to back then in 2021. And so that's really where we pivoted as a company in terms of building new products to support these communities versus supporting GameFi guilds back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a smart move. As you mentioned, the earnings aren't there anymore at the moment. They'll surely come back. I'm pretty certain of that. But up until then, yeah, it's
Yeah,
better to focus on the communities then and the communities that formed with the said guilds.
that's right.
Um, could you tell us how does blockchain space expand into the creator economy with Web3 solutions? And what benefits does this bring to communities and creators?
Yeah, certainly. So this is part of the pivot that I was talking about. Maybe I can go first from a product perspective, and Aspen, you can add some color to it from a market or creator economy space perspective.
Sure.
Yeah. So basically, what we realized very rather quickly is that if you're looking at creators today, and when we talk about creators or community owners, it could be those defunct guilds from the GameFi era, but who are still maintaining a community of people who just like to game, where they get together almost like a forum to talk about games and stuff like that. Or you can be talking about your Instagram model, who has a following on Instagram, or your TikToker, or one of many other different kind of content creators that you see around social media today, right? Each and every one of these people have their own communities, right? Their own fan base, their own group of people that they organize around themselves, right? And there's a lot of commonality between all of these different communities, right? In the Web2 space, as a community owner, as a creator, you have different problems, right? Especially when we talk about like being a social media or content creator today in 2023, you have problems because you may not be able to adequately engage with your audience, right? A lot of these social media platforms are black boxes. Yes, you can post something, they can comment, you can reply to the comments, but beyond that, the understanding of your fans is very superficial. There's no real way for you to reward fans who are loyal to you, for following you since the very beginning, right? Beyond what the social media platform provides, there's no better way for you to engage with them, right? If you talk about monetization, that's also a problem that many community owners and creators face today, right? Yes, all Instagram creators look for brand deals, right? Brands look for Instagram models and content creators, to work with. But beyond that, the workflow is somewhat broken as well, right? Brands, one of the common feedback we hear from creators is that brands don't like to pay them on time, right? Even just seeking out the right kind of brand deals, based on who your audience are, is difficult because brands, if I was Nike and I want to work with a creator, obviously I want to work with a creator that has an audience that likes running shoes or sneakers. But many creators don't even know themselves their audience that well, right? No one has really mapped out, what is it that their communities like or want. Plus, there weren't those tools available as well. So I think we saw a unique opportunity as Blockchainspace to try to bring some of that Web3 primitives and Web3 flavor that we know very well from serving the GameFi space back in the crypto bull run, and apply some of those concepts to the creator economy. So the first thing we did was we built a new a Web3 tool set and platform called Yay, which from a branding perspective, Aspen can also share a little bit more about later. And essentially, what we intend for this platform to be is a Web3 powered toolkit to help creators to better engage their fans, as well as include monetization. So one of the core features, for example, that we support right now is a very easy way for a creator to be able to set up their own community, right, which is an adjacent community from their core social media platform, but where they can generate a QR code, for example, which then their fans can scan, and in a very frictionless manner, within 3 clicks, they're able to configure an account. We will provision a Polygon-based Web3 wallet for them, and we will even drop an NFT for them. These NFTs, which we call shinies, are basically the foundation of what our Yay platform does. So essentially, creators can reward NFTs to their fans in a very quick and dirty way, and more importantly, because a lot of their fans are Web2 audiences today, they're not crypto natives like you and me, right? They're not familiar with what a wallet is. So we obfuscate and abstract away a lot of those Web3 details from the fan, and basically make the experience as smooth as possible. Because what we plan to do as well is to onboard as many Web2 people into the Web3 space as possible while making it painless and easy for them. And these are the type of solutions that creators in the current creator economy, they can take advantage of, right? Which can help them with their mapping out their audiences, which can help them with monetizing their audiences, and just understanding the audiences better. Aspen, do you have anything else to add to that as well?
One of the things, I guess, is that the nice thing about working in the creator economy as well and bringing what I call the ethos of Web3, where everyone rises along with the project, right? I mean, that was one of the things that I really loved about the whole GameFi narrative before, and being in guilds and being in that play to earn space, is that if you had those assets, you would rise along with the popularity of the game, and with the game success would also mean your success as well. And that's something that we wanted to bring to the creator economy, because that's not something we see with all these Web2 platforms that are out there. They are prevalent. You don't want to go head to head with them. You're never gonna. I mean, it's going to be very difficult to win a battle against a Meta, or all the other bike dance, right? What you want to
Yeah.
do is bring that the ethos of Web3, where everyone wins, into a industry like the creator economy, where there is a community that feels very underserved, in the sense where they don't share the successes of the creators that they follow and love. So, and another thing nice about it is that, if done right, and that's what we're hoping that we're doing here, is that it's impervious. It is something that is not going to be subject to the ebbs and flow of a market cycle, right? So whether or not the market's in a, right now people are calling it a crypto spring, right? Whether or not spring, winter, fall, or summer, it doesn't really matter, because the industry is mature enough, and you're coming in with the best of Web3 and what it has to offer, and bringing more value to an already ripe and mature ecosystem, is what I think the beauty of what we're trying to do now is.
Yeah, definitely. And I just wanted to add that it's great that you guys are kind of breaking down the barrier of entry, because if you look at Web3 overall, it's very difficult for the average user to get into it, uh, to open a wallet, to make sure it's secure. So that's what we're also trying to do here. We're kind of trying to educate people, because education in Web3 has a huge significance. And if you break down the barrier of entry with the EA program, as you said, the wallet is basically opened automatically for the user, right? And
Absolutely.
yeah, so that's great. And also, one question in regards to the shinies. Uh, do the creators can they make custom campaigns, for example, for the first people who joined, who followed their campaign, etc., so they receive kind of like a badge of honor?
Oh yeah, for sure. So we're still in the process of building out the product and supporting as many different use cases as possible. But for example, today there's a lot of flexibility in terms of how the creators can use the shinies to engage their communities, right? If I mean, I can just list a few examples, right? For example, a live streamer, who live streams on Twitch. Let's say they want to run an engagement campaign with their fans, where every day of the week when they go live on their live stream, they will flash a QR code on screen where their fans can sign in and basically claim a badge of the day for attending that stream that day. And then you can also gamify that. So if any of the fans actually collect all 7 badges representing 7 straight days of watching the screen, I'll give you an extra special NFT, an extra special shiny, as an additional reward, right? If I'm a YouTube content creator, I can also leverage shinies to make content. For example, let's say I was based in the Philippines, I was based in Manila. I can set up a treasure hunt around town where I can pre-generate, QR codes for 10 different unique shiny designs, which I'll spread all over downtown Manila, and basically encourage my fans to go find all of them, and they can get clues by following my content, by following my streams, and basically the first lucky 10 fans who are able to collect all 10 of these QR codes and shinies, win a special, 2-hour shopping trip with me as a reward. So again, right, these and you can sell the whole thing to a sponsor who wants to sponsor. Maybe Gucci will want to sponsor this shopping experience. So again, right, these toolkits and tool sets, help the creator open up new possibilities in terms of engagement and monetization with their fans and brands alike.
Yeah, it's definitely a great tool for creators, and also for the diehard fans who are there every day on the stream, and they get to be rewarded somehow. And also creators can now incentivize people to watch more of their stream.
Yeah, absolutely. This is just touching the surface, right? There's dozens
Yeah,
of other different kinds of activations we can do or plan to do. Yeah.
yeah, there are
Another
definitely a
another
lot of
benefit of it, if I can add to that, right? Another benefit of this is that you you suddenly now have a way to have that two-way interaction with your fan base outside of your native platforms, right? That's always been the
yeah,
criticism when it comes to the creator economy, where do you really own your audience, or is your audience just a set of subscribers that you've built on a particular platform, right? So I guess I'm jumping the gun here, John, but just stop me if I have to, right? But when we finally open up the platform to the public blockchain, now all of a sudden that two-way relationship that you have with the creators can exist with other projects that are out there as well. So I mean, it just gives the creator an ability to interact with their audience regardless whatever platform they've built their fame or or community in, I guess, right?
yeah, definitely. Um, can you explain in simple terms how blockchain technology is used by Blockchainspace and its impact on the gaming industry? I mean, we've kind of went over those
Yeah.
a bit,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
if there's anything you'd like to add,
Yeah, sure. So I think fundamentally, we are still a Web3 company, right? Yes, because of the crypto bear market, made us pivot our direction from focusing just on GameFi guilds to more of a broader creator economy, which also means then, this opened up a new design direction for us because now we're dealing primarily with Web2 audiences who don't know what Web3 is or who may not care what Web3 or MetaMask or a crypto wallet is, right? Yes, they may have heard of Bitcoin on the news, but that's effectively as much Web3 know-how they know, right? So
yeah,
from a Web3 perspective, everything we do on the Yay platform is still powered by Web3. Underlying all the shiny minting and all the shiny transactions is still powered by Polygon. It's still, we're still creating custodial wallets for all the users on the platform. Every time a shiny is rewarded to a fan, it is actually rewarded to their wallet, which for now they can see their wallet from our user interface. But because again, we are at the stage where we want to make sure the experience is as friendly and non-intimidating to Web2 people as possible, we don't expose a lot of the Web3 internals right now. So although you as a fan may have an account with Yay, you may not know that actually you have a Polygon wallet and a Polygon address under your name. All you care is that when you go into yay.tech and then look at your user profile in your account, you'll see that, oh, okay, this is my collection of shinies that we collected. Now, eventually there will be a point where we want to open up the platform and the Web3 internals to more advanced users, right? This is where we can then voluntarily share with the users. Okay, so guess what? All along, you guys actually had these Web3 wallets, and now, if you would like, you can turn on advanced mode. You can see your Polygon wallet address. You can even see it on Polyscan, and you can even transfer assets in and out of this wallet as you wish, right? So that's sort of how we're trying to step piece it so that we can onboard the Web2 users, get them familiar with the product and the site, and eventually then introduce them to the broader ecosystem of Web3.
yeah,
I
I
want to
was
add on to that
actually
as well. Sorry,
yeah,
sorry,
sure,
Mike. Yeah.
sure, go ahead.
So another thing also that what we've talked about extensively when we were mapping out the product is that, are we really in the business of trying to onboard more advocates of Web3, or are we trying to bring in users that will benefit from, you know, the the benefits of Web3, right? I think that's always been the sticking point that we've seen is like when you talk about bringing in people into the space, you want it almost feels like you want them to fully understand the entire ecosystem and how it behaves and how it operates, right? When in fact the first step is giving the users value, giving them something that they can appreciate. And then like what John said, when you have the more advanced users there, you can expose the nitty-gritty to them. You can expose the underlying technology to them, right? But what's more important here is that people get to experience what it can do for them first and foremost, without necessarily understanding how the engine works, right? Like not everyone who drives a car knows how to tinker with that car and fix it, right? That's why you bring it to a shop, but you appreciate the value of having a car. So that's pretty much what we're trying to do here. Yeah, when it comes to that.
Yeah. Thank you. I was actually going to ask what John said in regards to the more advanced users. For example, at the moment, can a more advanced user access their private key?
Not right now, no.
But you're going to add that in the future as an option
Yeah,
whenever
so-
they enable the advanced user mode.
So, yeah, exactly. So how we're probably going to do it, and again, right, like everything in technology, your product plans and roadmap may change depending on circumstances. But
Yeah.
right now, how we're thinking about it is that we will introduce a setting under the every individual user's basically account settings, essentially telling them that, okay, do you want to turn on advanced mode or advanced Web3 mode? We're still workshopping the name of what to call it. But essentially, if you do that, first of all, we will go through KYC with you. So for the information that we don't have yet in terms of like just standard KYC procedures, we will complete that if you want to choose advanced mode. And once you turn on advanced mode, you'll be able to see your Web3 internals, right? Like basically your wallet address, right? You can verify that the shinies that you see in our platform is exactly what you would see on Polyscan as well, for example, right? We will also then potentially enable the transfer of assets in and out of that wallet. And basically, this is just one more wallet that you can use out of the if you're a Web3 native, you'll probably have many wallets that you operate with.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I was just having some ideas right now with all of this, like having a Chinese marketplace, for example, people trading
Exactly.
out
No,
of a
and not only
week.
that, Michael, like we will also plan to implement Wallet Connect protocol, for example, so you can even use your wallet, on Ye, to play Axie or some other, game, if you would like to,
Yeah,
or connect to
yeah,
dApps. Yeah.
yeah. There are a lot of possibilities here.
Yeah.
Could you tell us in what ways does blockchain space utilize blockchain technology in applications like cryptocurrency, DeFi, NFTs, and smart contracts? And what sets it apart from traditional databases? So, I mean, we kind of got over some of this. Could you tell us what are the advantages of using Web3 in what you're doing over traditional databases?
Okay, well, I mean, this is a bigger discussion, right?
Yeah,
That
I mean,
than just blockchain space specifically. I mean, you can argue the same for many Web3 applications today. What's the advantage over traditional database? But I think in our context, it's actually easier to answer, because again, right, fundamentally, think about what we do. We're trying to enable creators, right?
yeah,
We're trying to enable creators to engage their fans. Fans, when they earn a shiny from a creator, is like a badge of honor, right? That shiny, which is also an NFT, can come with its own utility or its own benefits. If the creator is holding, for example, a physical meetup, a fan meet, you know, they can use these shinies as like say a ticket, right? You can only come to the fan meet if you have collected at least 3 of my shinies over the last 12 months or something like that, right? So this fundamentally gives these shinies a value, which because it's on Web3, it's actually owned by the user themselves. If they no longer want to be a fan of this creator anymore, they can very well sell this utility on the open market to other fans who may appreciate the opportunity to attend the fan meet, for example, right? In the Web2 space, yes, you can do all of that in a centralized manner. That is true, right? But do you really own the thing that the platform says you own? Not really, right? A database owns that thing, right? But in this case, especially when we open up Web3 internals, the fan actually does own the thing because they will have control over their own wallet on the platform. They have the freedom, and the empowerment to transfer those those shinies NFTs out to their own personal wallet if they want, or even better, they can even sell it on the open market like on Rarible or OpenSea or any of your NFT markets of your choice. So I think those are some of the reasons why Web3 foundationally actually does make a lot of sense beyond just a centralized database, because it really does enable that true ownership, for a fan in this context.
I'm also going to add here again. Another reason why it's important for us to be able to build this out on Web3 is that it future proofs the whole program. It future proofs the whole proposition. Again, building it in a centralized database, there's only so much that you can do, to be quite honest, right? But having this, having building it, having to build it out there this way gives us opportunity to really integrate with future technologies that are going to be built on on the blockchain. So that's pretty important for us. It's as much it's as important now as it's going to be important in the future, once we roll out feature sophistications on the product, and also once we see what we don't already know right now, right? So that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's I just keep thinking about the possibilities and use cases, like with
I'll
creators,
add
what
one
they could
actually.
do with.
Yeah.
I My mind is running right now.
Yeah. Same thing
um,
with us, like every day, right, Michael? So another thing
yeah,
that we're looking at right now, here's a perfect example. Um, and we're not saying that the platform is going to head in that direction or not, right? But look at traditional ticketing right now for any kind of event that you're going to. The biggest exploit there is um buying tickets on the secondary, right? So the same
yeah,
behavior is there.
yeah,
There's a transaction that happens between the whatever entity and the user, and then once it hits a secondary, there's no way for the user to actually to the third user, the one who's going to buy off the secondary, to really know if it's getting it for real or not, right? Because it's not
yeah,
verifiable, um it's not identifiable. So that has been in existence for as long as ticketing has been out there. So taking that same principle and looking at that's a very, very clear exploit that we can mitigate by building this whole ecosystem on a Web3 platform. So that's why we're there right now. Again, it's going to get to the point where that John mentioned. Once we build in the utility into these shinies, whether it's brand initiated or us initiating it or a creator initiating it, there is certainty and there is confidence and security for the secondary tertiary user who wants to purchase or who wants to interact with that, uh, knowing that it's fully going to go to them rather than it's already been consumed in some other platform, and then all of a sudden you're buying something that's just a shell and you can't use it, right? So there's that's the pretty important domino in this whole thing.
yeah. Definitely, it helps overcome a lot of challenges that Web2 is currently facing. Um, could you elaborate on the potential benefits of blockchain and individuals? Uh, oh, I'm sorry.
Mm.
Could you elaborate on the potential benefits of blockchain and cryptocurrency for individuals in countries with unstable financial infrastructures or currencies? We kind of went over that a bit at the start with when we were talking about people earning more money during the COVID period.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
I
I mean
think
that's a question that's not really specific to us, right? That's the
yeah,
crypto
yeah,
ecosystem as a whole, right? Yeah.
yeah. I think we can go over that one. Let's move on to the next one. As blockchain space aims to provide secure and decentralized services, can you share some specific features or innovations that make it stand out in the blockchain-based gaming space?
I mean, sure. I think we sort of also went through that earlier. Like, fundamentally, our focus now is really not in the GameFi space anymore, right? Uh, we have pivoted our product, to serve or to service the broader creator economy and community owners as a whole, right? Eventually, when the next bull market comes back, which some people, are saying right now is actually the moment that the markets are about to
Let's
turn.
hope so.
Yeah,
Let's hope so.
I'm also crossing my fingers, but I'm actually not that bullish, to be honest with you. We still have a looming recession coming. Um,
NFA,
Yeah,
NFA, not financial advice.
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
financial advice.
Everyone, just a quick disclaimer: no financial advice here, people. Just
Yeah. That's just my
Take
personal
take
opinion.
everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah. So look, I mean, if when the next bull market comes, is GameFi gonna reinvigorate itself and become a thing again? Yeah, sure. And if that happens, we'll be ready, to serve that community again, right? Right now, there really isn't much happening in the GameFi space, to be completely honest, right? So this is why our focus right now is on other areas like the creator economy and community owners.
What I'm gonna add on to
Yeah,
that, right? So we yes, we pivoted towards the more creator economy centric proposition. Although our DNA and our heritage lies in gaming, right? So we keep an eye on it for sure. Right now it's very hopeful. We're seeing a lot of games that are finally launching. Some of these games are projected to launch within the next 18 to 24 month time frame, and we're very excited for that. Some of the things that definitely we can do for the GameFi space is working with the creators, the Web3 gaming creators that are out there, right? So again, it's going to take a lot for us to be able to work hand in hand with these gaming creators, seeing that they've already got their hands full with the platforms that they have, right? And I guess that's why it's right now in terms of like which creators are we talking to? Are we talking to GameFi creators? Yes, we are. Are they fully receptive to what we're doing? They're still busy creating their fan bases and still busy creating the engagement and the community aspect of it, which is, I have to admit,
mhm,
right, the nice thing about the Web3 GameFi creators and Web3 gaming creators, to be specific, is that there is automatically a sense of community in it, not like traditional established creator economy where it's still a matter of like audience and creator. It's still not that complete dialogue. In fact, you're only
yeah,
seeing it now with creators that are suddenly opening up their Discord channels or opening up Discord channel for the community to be in. So you're seeing it evolve there. So that's why for us, it makes more sense for us to be able to engage these traditional creators first because they have that following already in place, and they're the ones on the lookout. Okay, how can we interact and reward our audiences, our community, and turn this audience into a community, right? So
yeah.
once that's happening and moving fully, our relationship with GameFi is always going to be there. Our relationship with, in fact, I don't know. This is actually on our website, but some of our investors are actually the investors also in the GameFi space, right? Some of our advisors are founders in that space as well. So the relationship is there. Um, are we servicing them right now? Not yet, but we will get there as soon as we've established, as soon as we've progressed into our roadmap. Obviously,
Mhm,
yeah. John, did I
yeah,
get that right? I think I did, right? So
Yeah. I think you nailed it. Yeah.
yeah. I just wanted to add that I think GameFi will definitely come back, and it
mhm.
will come back in an evolved form. I mean, from my standpoint, the first GameFi projects, the first play to earn games were, uh, let me see, were kind of indie games, more casual oriented, not the, let's see, big studio AAA type of games. I think in the future and in the next bull run, we're definitely going to start seeing some AAA titles coming towards blockchain.
I
Yeah.
mean, we don't even have to wait for the next bull run. You're seeing games already right now that are coming out there, right? You're
Yeah.
seeing games that, like, for example, one of the most hopeful stories I saw over the past few months was My Pet Hooligan launching on what's it called? On I think it's Ubisoft, if I'm not mistaken, the launcher. So it's there for about a year. So that's pretty hopeful. Parallel right now is pretty massive, so it doesn't the investments that were made in 2021 and 2022 are showing fruition already right now, right? But it's still like what you said. Yes, it would be nice for the AAA games to start popping up and seeing AAA game studios to start, embracing Web3 and integrating that fully into the game. But that's also, I guess, where John and I have a shared belief, where if you're still espousing and talking about your game being a Web3 game, are you really creating a game that's enjoyable? I think the economy part of it plays secondary to the playability, the enjoyability of the game, right?
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
kind of maturity that we're
exactly.
looking for, waiting for in games.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
And
the
you
selling
cannot deny.
point.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say you can to add on to Aspen, right? I mean, GameFi is not gonna die, right? But it's gonna come back in a different form, right? Like you can even
Yeah.
argue that if you talk about AAA games, like games like Illuvium, I would argue is pretty close to AAA quality, right? So it's not like there are no such games out there, but fundamentally we have to change the narrative, right? The last cycle was too driven by the narrative that it's Web3, you can earn. Everything is around the financial incentives of playing the game, and what is being lost out is really the fun aspect of it, right? That's not
Exactly.
a sustainable model for GameFi to succeed. For GameFi to evolve and to grow, it has to be games first. It has to be the fun factor first.
Yeah.
The financial stuff, the earning stuff, the tokenomics, the models, that is all secondary to having a fun and enjoyable game that people can just put hours and hours into, regardless whether there's a financial incentive to do so. Right? That's what's going to make GameFi sustainable.
I'm gonna add one
Exactly.
last thing in this whole topic, right? So one again, let me correct myself. It's Epic Games. My pet Hooligan on Epic Games. That's the launcher. Okay. But to add on to that, the whole proposition is when I play my games, I surrender so much because I don't really own the assets in the games, right? That's why the whole proposition of Web3 gaming and is so strong because you can suddenly own the assets that you have in the games that you're playing. The argument there in our contest to that is why would you want to own the asset of a game that you're not really having fun playing? Wouldn't you want to own a piece of the game that you are certifiably having fun playing? Rather than owning a piece of a game or owning an asset in a game where you don't really feel it, you don't really feel that connection with it, right? So for me, I'm waiting to be wowed by a game and start playing these games. And it's out there. Parallel for me is super great and super advanced, and I love it to bits, right? But yeah, it's more of that. More of these things need to happen.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. The whole GameFi concept will evolve naturally, start evolving in a more healthier way whenever the focus is the actual game and the main selling point is the game, not the Web3 aspect of it.
Correct.
Because like until now the whole title was Web3 game play to earn. That was the selling point, not the actual gameplay. So it has to be enjoyable before you can do
Otherwise,
anything. Because
why even make
because
it
if
a
it's
game
not
if it's enjoyable, right? If it's not enjoyable, then just build a UI where you click buttons for rewards, right?
yeah, make a cookie clicker with
Yeah,
some rewards
exactly.
and that's it. Because you gotta retain players and you gotta incentivize them to come back. Like if there's no gameplay, you can't call it a game. I don't know, it's a hype train, more or less.
But we've also got to look at it from a very pragmatic standpoint, right? Like GameFi is pretty new. It's not.
Yeah,
It
I
it
mean
it,
it's
it will mature. It will grow, and exponentially it will grow, and that's why we're very excited for it. And that's why it's
yeah,
important for us to support the creators because ultimately that's also one of the ways for the games to find success and to find their users is to have the creators that support these games, and we want to be there to support the creators that do support the games.
yeah, definitely. I mean that's what we were saying. It's still in an infant stage, I'd say. It's still very early. There's definitely lots to come in GameFi. I guess that concludes the end of my questions. We're going to move on to some audience questions. We're gonna take 4 audience questions. Would you guys like to choose them yourselves, or would you like me to help you out with that?
I think it's better if you select the questions yourself.
Surprise
Yeah.
us.
Okay, I mean, in the meantime, you can have a look over them in the staged live chat section. Let me see. Let me have a look over here. There's definitely a lot of them.
There's a
Okay,
question here that is very interesting.
could
Can you
you
give us
tell me from who
yeah
it is?
from Super Gem?
Super Gem. Let me see. Okay. Okay, the first one from Super Gem. Can you give us details of which games currently support the idea of Blockchainspace? Do you even have the support of core team of each project? Or do you guys just pick the most popular ones regardless of the team's opinions? That's a good one.
Yeah. We do have relationship with some of the game developers that are out there. In fact, again, like what I mentioned earlier, for example, Jiho from Axie is actually one of our advisors, right? Seb
Mhm.
also from Sandbox is also one of our advisors. So we have a very healthy relationship with some of the bigger Web3 game developers that are out there and Web3 game projects that are out there. But we also keep a lookout on the games that are growing in popularity, right? Also at the same time, we're looking at the games that are being recommended to us by people in the industry as well.
Mhm. Yeah, that's definitely nice to hear. I mean, in the Web3 space, networking is definitely extremely important. Uh, Let me see. If you see any other ones, just let me know. Looking as well. Second, I
Yeah,
have one.
I mean, a lot of the questions we actually either directly or indirectly answered through our
Yeah.
conversation just now. Yeah. Um,
Okay. I think I found one interesting from Fidara12. With the guild token serving dual purposes in both gaming and DeFi, how do you strike a balance between these two distinct use cases, and what advantages does this convergence offer for the broader metaverse ecosystem?
I mean, that's a pretty broad question that touches upon a few different things. Um, I think we'll comment it from our perspective. At the end of the day, right? Guild is our native ecosystem token for blockchain space, right? And just to share that we are also in the process of revamping our tokenomics around the token. So we'll
Mhm.
have more to share around that in the coming weeks once we complete that. But if you consider, but I mean, just as a brief preview, if you consider right now our tool set is about enabling creators, to engage and monetize with their fans. Part of that is also, through the minting of shinies, right? What if we can tie the price of guild based on, for example, the number of shinies that we can mint, right? For example, right?
Mhm.
What if we can use the guild token as a settlement layer within our Yay platform? What if we can even use guild to provide a foundational base value for each of the NFTs and shinies that we mint? Right. So again, right, nothing we can share right now. But I mean, these are just some of the ideas of how we're leveraging our guild token and think about how it can actually fit into our creator economy and community owner ecosystem and tool set
Mhm.
that we're building right now. Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of ways you can leverage the token around the whole ecosystem. And
Yeah.
yeah, um, let me see another question. I mean, we've already went over many of these.
Yeah. Maybe we take one last one if you find one that's interesting.
Sure. Let me see. I mean, we have a simple one here, but we didn't go over this. Are you guys
Okay.
thinking of making a cross-chain supported marketplace, or are you guys going just to stick to Polygon?
Yeah, I think that's a good question, right? I mean, we are starting our focus on just Polygon for pragmatic reasons, right? We get great ecosystem support from the Polygon team themselves. It's a fast chain with very low fees. But fundamentally, we never lock ourselves out from a multi-chain future, and in fact, very possible, or it's almost a certainty that the future is going to be a multi-chain future. It's not going to be winner takes all, right? So the fact that everything we built today is on EVM, right? This essentially opens up, our design space for our product to support, all the different EVM chains of the future, or even non-EVM chains. I mean, who knows? Why not go cross-chain to support other chains like Solana or other L1s in the future? I think we will evaluate that based on more of a case by case basis, depending on the circumstances, depending on the user demand, and all of the other different variables. But yeah, absolutely, there's a possibility we'll go multi-chain in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that. Do you guys want to end this here, or should we get one more question?
if you can find one interesting one within 10 seconds, sure, why not?
Yeah, let me check.
Not to say that the questions aren't interesting, right? We're just saying that a lot of these questions have been answered already in the conversation we had.
Yeah, and there's a lot of them. Take some time to find the interesting ones that we didn't cover already, because most of them are interesting. Not seeing anything here. I mean, I think we can call it here because many of these have already been covered.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Thank you very much, Johnny and Aspen, for joining us today. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, same
Yeah.
here. Happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Thank you,
Yeah.
everyone. And again, I just want to say that it's very, very nice to see a lot of like engaged people in the CertiK Discord. A lot of questions. We really appreciate all of them. Also want to shout out the guys from our community that are here supporting us as well. Props to you all. And then for the people that actually want to learn more about what we're trying to do for Yay and specific, and towards a bigger blockchain space with moves that we're making in terms of like acquisitions, in terms of innovations, feel free to join the Blockchainspace Discord. We're always there. Our army of moderators are more than equipped to answer all of your questions as well. Right. But again, guys, Michael, Paul, thank you very much for having us. We really appreciate it. And yeah, happy Halloween to everyone, guys. Wherever you are in the world.
Forgot about that. Happy Halloween, everyone. And I also shared your Skynet profile in the live chat section. So anyone who's interested to check out your social, your website, they can find it in there. They can also see your security score, which, prop to you, it's very good. And yeah, thank you for joining us. Happy Halloween. Thank you to everyone in the audience who came in, and have a great rest of the day, evening, or whatever it